How about that? Is that good? Oh, yeah, that's a little too good. Hello, Cat. How are you? I'm trying to do a couple of things here. I'm using a noise generator that's very... How's my voice? How can you hear my voice against the audio? Because I can't. I'm having some difficulty. And hello to you too, Movie Geek. Hello, both of you. I'm trying to put you guys in a better spot here. As far as where you can see the chat. I hope you guys can hear me, because I was hoping the music wasn't super loud, but maybe I need to put it down to about half volume, that way you can hear me. Okay, and there's one last thing I want to do before I really get started. On the top left. Yeah, maybe. I can hear you fine. Okay, thank you, Cat. Top left. Kinda? Like that, maybe? I can't see. My eyesight's bad anyway. Let's try top left for now. Okay. Let's see. There's one more thing I wanted to do. Ah, yes! And that was to link the... That was to link the noise generator. Now, will it let me pin it? That's the question. And it looks like the answer might be no. Because the emoticons are in the way. Oh, that's so much fun. Pin message. There we go. There we go. And that's the noise generator being used for today. So today, we are doing, we're doing a nice chill stream. Because as much as I like Tales, I just wasn't feeling it. We've had a couple of busy days, a couple of busy weekends in a row. My husband's birthday was yesterday, which was super fun, but I didn't get to bed till really, really late, and I wasn't necessarily in the right headspace this morning during my workout, so normally if I'm feeling out of it while I'm working out, I get bored, and then when I come back home, I'm always like, you know, it kind of ruins the beginning of my day. So, I just wasn't feeling up to playing Tales of Graces. I might on Friday. I might not. It all depends. But, you know, Tales of Graces is always going to be there. I take very good care of the disc, so we are going to get back to it at some point. But I did just kind of want to get some drawing done, because I have been trying to, in my mind, redesign a couple of beloved characters from the Zelda series. Particularly Sheik and Paya. These are supposed, at this point, they are supposed to be twins, and whatever you're comfortable with is fine. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, at this point they are supposed to be twins. Identical twins, so you can take that however you like. But the intention is for Sheik to be Sheik to be trans. And unfortunately, I don't like his outfit. I had a rendition of this outfit before, but I also didn't like that one because it had a tail that made him look like it had a tail. It had a tail, it looked awkward, and it looked like a tail. And I just didn't like it. It didn't vibe with me. So I'm trying to come up with something different, and it's still not working for me. So I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish the outfit. But I cannot guarantee that I am going to keep it, because I can't seem to make up my mind how I want him to look. Alright. I don't want to yell into the microphone, so... So, full disclosure, I am using CSP's 3D models. I like to think that I'm a bit more experienced, but I'm not, but that's fine. One thing I've learned is that as someone who's now been doing art for, like, as a hobby for a solid, I guess, 2.5 years now, it doesn't really matter what you use just as long as it gets done and as long as it's not generative AI. That is really the lesson I would like us all to take from that. So, let's see. Is the outfit not working for the general shape, or do you feel it's a bit sparse, needs more elements? It's the shape. The shape isn't super vibing with me. And I don't know if it's because it doesn't look masculine enough, or if I just don't like... Or if I just don't like the top of the short yukata here. Lots of twists and turns in this one. I hardly ever keep my things straight. I'm actually using an X Pen tablet. Or XP Pen tablet. I got it for kind of a steal, honestly, from an old high school friend of mine. Or did I do that incorrectly? No, I didn't. That's fine. Normally, I would play some Zelda music covers, but people have been handing out copyright strikes a bit much for my liking. And I don't know if you guys know this, or have noticed this, is that I'm a bit paranoid about copyright strikes because that's what killed my first channel. Started using a friend's music on my channel, and that friend, quote unquote, got arrested in the UK. And so his brother, who played with us on occasion, thought he would be able to get money by essentially striking people's channels for using his music, but that meant the entire old crew. And so I got a copyright strike and lost the ability to stream, which was my main source of income at the time. By any chance, what software are you using? A CSP. Clip Studio Paint. I would like to avail myself of some of the free stuff. I used to use Manga Studio, but Manga Studio doesn't vibe with being alive on my computer anymore. I try to use it and it's just like, no. it just gives up. I don't know what the problem is. It's killing me. It's annoying me. Let's see. There we go. The original concept for this was a Hero Zelda AU, sort of alternate universe, where Link gets captured and Zelda is the hero. Unfortunately, what ended up happening is I started getting really enamored with the dynamic of Sheik and Link and Sheik and Paya. I started developing Sheik as like an individual character that's not Zelda. And I started getting a little bit into how he's portrayed as opposed to Zelda or Link. And while Sheik could still very well be Zelda, I decided not to. Instead, Zelda is one of Sheik's students. Like, the whole situation was really bad. I don't necessarily want to say the creator's name, but, because I really would rather not be associated with them anymore. But back in the day when Overwatch mattered, I flew with plenty of different people, actually. One of those people actually ended up being Sniper Wolf for a time until she openly mocked me at a con and I decided not to talk to her anymore. And, you know, after Overwatch kind of fell off and I moved cities, I sort of stopped streaming. But I used to fly with people like Dun Runnin', Segi VA, people who just played Overwatch more often. And I was kind of, I ended up sort of gaining something of a reputation for refusing to play competitive. And so I ended up kind of losing a lot of my affiliations when the whole thing with this specific creator that was arrested went down. And like, I know he's been released by now, but it's still like, I'd really rather not have that association anymore, especially after everything that went down with his brother. But some of those people are still streaming. They're not streaming Overwatch anymore, but definitely Segi VA. Segi VA is still streaming. His voice is still wonderful. He's still voice acting. This leg is a bit thicker than that one. Alright. Let's give him some better ankles. There we go. Sorry, you don't have to say any names. Thank you. Okay. Now I have to work on his face. Let me finish the feet first. In other words, my least favorite part of any character that I've ever drawn ever. I hate drawing feet. Feet and hands. I'm not gonna lie, I almost always trace my hands. Almost always. This is the benefit of not being a professional. You can get away with that kind of stuff. talk to some of the others. Mooncry comes to mind. But Mooncry and I go way back. A little more like a foot with a sandal on it, with Tobby and a sandal. Sort of. And we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it. This is my first stream like this, so if I'm not talking enough, I apologize. Hobby streams are pretty rare for me. Like I've said in my adult beginner video, this is not necessarily something I plan on making money off of, unless I ever learn how to make comics, which, I have learned recently. It's very difficult. For some reason, having to draw the same face over and over, makes my brain crazy. Like, I get bored. It's so weird. I feel like Sheik isn't turning out as good as Paya, but... Okay. Now for this face. There's so much going on here. Oh, good lord. Okay. We can fix this, though. First thing we need to fix is this eye. Because luckily, with Sheik, in almost every iteration, the only distinguishing characteristic on Sheik's face is his eye. And then let's make sense of this hair. I used to also do some, well, I wouldn't say used to, but I've gotten better and better at using references, because at some point, when I was starting to try and wean myself off of these 3D models, because I was like, who will ever need them ever again, you know? But they are a very useful tool. An extremely useful tool. But back when I was trying to wean myself off, I used to trace poses before I started trying to, like, only use reference. I used to trace poses actually quite a bit. But the only problem is, when you're using pose tracing, some of the poses are definitely from stock photos, and those stock photos aren't exactly the most enthusiastic, aren't filled with the most enthusiastic models, so the pictures come out looking a little awkward. I want Sheik to be a fair bit more unkempt than his sister. Simply because he's, like, the absent-minded professor type. Well, like... Okay, let's see here. Yeah, that'll work. It just looks like claws, but it'll work for now. We'll make it look like hair in a minute. Here, we'll put my microphone here so it doesn't make too much noise when I hit it every single time. Another thing about Sheik is that he is supposed to have burn scars. He went on an adventure with Link and got very badly injured. And that is like a defining characteristic of their relationship, is that there will always be some part of Link who feels like he will never be able to pay back what Sheik did for him, but Sheik kind of doesn't give a shit. Because he's a good man. Who, in his mind, he was just helping out a friend. And just doing his job. See, like I said, I've had a lot of time. This was originally supposed to be a story about Zelda, but it ended up being about Sheik. So I can see how that looks. It doesn't look too bad, but the cowl is a bit too wide. Because if you look at the original poster, if you look at the original model, cowl's just a touch wide. See, that's why I need those 3D. Well, I wouldn't say need the 3D models, but this is definitely why I like having them around. Because they're very, very useful. And sometimes character stories just hijack the planned narrative, yeah. Absolutely. In this case, absolutely. Normally, I am extremely meticulous with my writing. Especially with the novel. I am very, very meticulous in what I do. And as a matter of fact, it holds me up a lot of the time. But at the moment, Sheik's kind of taking over. And I think it's because, I think it's because at this point, Sheik is more or less an original character at this point. Simply because in all the other iterations, Sheik is just a disguise. Sheik is not necessarily his own person. So being able to play around with them like this is actually kind of fun. More fun than I expected, honestly. Put that Widow's Peak somewhere else. my pencil's a little too thick, if I can be frank. I get lost in the world building, even then it's all background stuff. It's not going to show up in the text. And it shouldn't, because I don't want to emulate Victor Hugo. A lot of people are trying to avoid that. I get that. I try not to get too bogged down in world building, simply because, not because like it won't show up in the story or anything, but simply because I won't ever stop. Because the thing is, worlds are ever building and ever expounding and ever expanding. So many things can happen in the world because it's all your characters know exists. Kind of like, you know, the Earth today. Like, people are like, oh man, the Earth is so bad, things are so bad. The reason why things are quote-unquote so bad is because it's the best and worst we will ever know. And, you know, I think sometimes that messes with people's perception of reality. But, you know, when you have access to the internet and all the world's bad news at once, you know. But enough of my philosophizing. I don't really do... A lot of the stories I write don't necessarily take... That's messed up. Hang on. See, this is when the way I draw this stuff starts to bite me in the ass, because now I can't tell what's what. Let's see. Let's refer back to the model. Okay, so there's the ear. Let's put that somewhere. My brain just starts obsessing over my character would know. I should know it. I could just say, mention court rivalries without making a court that makes sense to me. So are you writing a Regency novel of some kind? Or are we talking like spring and summer court? Like fairies? I don't know much about fairies, but I have a lot of friends who exude enough fae energy for me to absorb a lot of the, I have this friend in our Black D&D server who has some of the most wild, because she moved so frequently in her adult life, she has a lot of what we jokingly call like fae lore, because all the stories are like crazy. And she likes to surprise us with them every once in a while. Okay. Microphone is in the way. Justify things, and then I end up writing 30k of which most nuance and talking and speaking and clothing and stuff. My plot has not moved past a single dinner. As a matter of fact, my dad, when he was writing his book, he's almost finished with it now, but when he was writing his book, that was what he was having problems with. There was a scene where they're all, like, it's all the merchants gathering together to have, like, a big conference about the incoming natural disaster, and he had such a hard time, like, describing, like, okay, why is the nature of the storm, why is this storm different? Why do they feel the need to get by now? How were their customs in the first place? And he used to get very frustrated with himself because of that. He's still working on getting it published, however. He wants to do it self-published, but he's got some roadblocks to that beforehand. He's just gonna have a lot of hair, because Sheikahs have a lot of hair. He has a silk bonnet somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere. Yeah, this pencil seems a little thick for this job. To be fair, it also did for Paya, so... Maybe next time I draw with a pen? Maybe that'll be the next drawing. I might draw another, piece of art of legend from Link Universe dancing. I might do that. And an original story in a fantasy setting that I've been working on for years. Ah! Regency RPs. Oh, okay. If you know Regency RPs, are you familiar with, what's the really popular one that's happening right now? Bridgerton, that one. It seems to be getting very popular. I keep getting shorts for it on YouTube. And I mean, it's a Shonda show, so I know if it's not good, it's at the very least extremely entertaining. Like, Shonda Rhimes has made such a killing off of her shows because she knows what people because she knows that her job is to be entertaining, not accurate. And I think that is a very special... I think that is a very special kind of... Yeah, Bridgerton, thank you. I think that is a very special, skill set. Because, especially now, when people are really obsessing over being accurate, to the point where it can bog down the story a little bit. Like, her stories might not be historically accurate, and to be honest, they might not even be, joke around that we are the French, Italian, older ladies who stand in the corner and gossip and clutch our pearls in delight. Oh yeah, it's, like I said, it's an incredibly engaging, like, the way Shonda Rhimes, does her shows is, she wants you to have fun. And there's also the problem of, suddenly, but unfortunately, with Bridgerton, she runs into the same problem Lin-Manuel Miranda did with Hamilton. I mean, in a sense that, you know, people do talk about why would you portray this historical figure as this, but it's funny how people only get so worked up about historical representation because they didn't get worked up with historical representation when Downton Abbey came along. So, like, what's suddenly the big deal now? What are you suddenly so worried about? Is it because we're portraying this character as a person of color? Is that what makes you so upset? And suddenly, everybody is worried. Like, a black person appears at the Palace of Versailles, and suddenly everyone's worried about historical accuracy. You know? And it's just... I was not a fan of the original novels it was based on, but I really deeply enjoy the show. My mom's the same way. She read all of the books, because my mother flies a lot, and she read all of her books. She read all of the books, and she was like, yeah, they were fine. But she really loves the show. As a matter of fact, I've been encouraging her to dress up like Queen Charlotte for Dragon Con, but then I would have to get her into a crowded con space, and she would not have that. She can barely stand doing airports, and she has to do that for her job. Alright. Are we done with our boy? I think... Oh, no, we are not done with our boy by a long shot. We still have to do his hair. Now, I will say, Shonda's good at toxic relationships. Not as good as, you know, Sex in the City. but she was pretty good with toxic relationships. And sometimes, depending on what episode of Grey's Anatomy you watch, sometimes her characters are in toxic relationships with abstract concepts. Oof, I have got to redo this hand. That is not good. Full disclosure, I'm gonna trace it because I'm not messing. I hate drawing hands, and if I can get out of not drawing it, I will. The shoulder looks pointed. He looks like he belongs in an episode of Dynasty. This is gonna make me sound so old. But do kids these days remember Dynasty? Do people remember Dynasty? Because Dynasty had some looks now. And I mean some looks. We're talking 80s cocaine looks. Like the shoulder pads. Do people remember the shoulder pads? The sheer majesty of the shoulder pads? Like I feel like that is something that kids these days would absolutely appreciate. Because if they can appreciate Bridgerton, they'd be able to appreciate Dynasty. Beautiful. And Miami Vice. I was not allowed to watch Miami Vice, oddly enough. It came on at a time where my mom was like, no, we can't watch this right now. And I don't remember why. I'll have to ask her. I literally just got off the phone with her, so. No, I don't like how that looks. You know what? I'm thinking I might need to take it easy on my pen sensitivity, because my pen is very sensitive. I might need to make my eraser smaller. I don't remember why we didn't watch Miami Vice. You know, there could also be the chance that my mother just didn't like it, which is true for a lot of shows. Oh, speaking of old shows, there was a clip from Touched by an Angel that has been going around. That was Monica, the Irish angel, turning black for a day. And it was supposed to, like, increase her empathy, because she didn't understand about, like, because she's a baby angel, so she didn't understand about, like, racial disparities in America. Unfortunately, instead of just hiring a black... Hang on, the internet stroked out again. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so instead of just hiring a black Irish actress, because those exist, even in the 90s, they put Monica in blackface. And it was like, you could have done anything else. Are you sure? Are you sure that was what you wanted to choose? Are you sure? It was not a good decision. I don't know who, somebody on 90s drugs, made that decision, but I personally don't know how Delores let that stand, but I don't know, maybe she didn't. Maybe that's why she stopped appearing in some of the shows, but I remember that being, like, the day my mother was like, you know, maybe I've had enough of Touched by an Angel. We're gonna watch something else. less challenging looking. It's not much better, but at least his thumb looks like it exists. Blackface with a very curly wig. Yep. And, like, I just want to know, whose decision was that? And, if I was the actress, I would have been like, no. You know, like, my career is not recovering from this. No. Because, like, yeah, just whose decision was that? That's really my biggest, like, that's really my biggest question. Sheik's face is damaged all the way through. We're gonna go to his hand. And we're gonna get rid of some of his. Yeah, we're just gonna go do that. Wish I was better at drawing that. Yeah. I figured I wouldn't draw gloves. I wanted to make a point about his hand. No. Alright. Oh, nope, still not done. I didn't do the underside of his hair. Touched by an Angel I like better than Seventh Heaven. A lot of people like Touched by an Angel better than Seventh Heaven. Seventh Heaven's had some issues outside of, And I wish people would understand that, like, forced diversity is not a thing. And it's like, just because you've never left the suburbs and you've never seen more than two black people at a time together, doesn't mean it exists. It doesn't. They don't exist anywhere else, and they can't be together in a fantasy world. Like that. That always frustrates me. Like, oh, they're forcing diversity, or are some people in New York just black? Like, or consider, this race of characters is fantasy, and they are fake. So they could be any color you want. Well, in this mythos, they said that they're white. Okay, but this is not that. I may or may not be talking about the Dragon Age discourse. Because I think Darwin looks wonderful. And I'm so glad. Can I just say, I'm so glad he doesn't have the Killmonger swoop. I fully expect... Will needs better hair from Baldur's Gate 3. Will needs better hair. I know he's in a protective style. He's rocking the cornrows. I get it. He needs better hair. Oh, I messed that all up. We'll take care of that later. Him and his sister to have matching barrettes here to give Will different hair. Yeah, like, I know he's rocking the protective style, but like, he needs better hair. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of things that Baldur's Gate does well. Choices for the hair and clothes choices for the characters is not one of those things. Like, maybe later in game, sure, but I don't know. Some of those hairstyles, especially in the OG content creator, are just, like, disappointing. There we go. And he gets the same little bauble his sister does. Or maybe he doesn't. I need to fix that arm. I hate foreshortening. I don't know why I chose this pose. Let's see. The only reason why I'm getting away with drawing like this is because of how heavily I'm relying on the reference here. All the way down. There's the arm. There are the greaves that hold the arm. And there's the puff in the sleeves. Alright, awesome. Alright, cool. Alright. I think that's good. I'm still not super crazy about what Sheik's wearing. Yeah, no, we'll absolutely... Well, I'll be honest with you. Most games need variety for natural hair. And, like, even the best ones do, truly. And it's like, I know they're trying. And honestly, some of them look great. But at the same time, it's like, just a touch, just add a little more, like, I get frustrated with the Killmonger sweep simply because it's everywhere. It was cool, like, the first 3 times, but, like, it happens so much. Not every black male character needs it, you know? I don't even know anybody who keeps their hair like that in real life. People talking about a specific hair in the new GTA trailer. GTA's always been alright with hairstyles, but they're like, I mean, Franklin was a very specific type of character who probably, like, it would be uncharacteristic of him to grow his hair out. He was a guy in, I guess, the LA, in the equivalent of LA, He was a guy in the equivalent of GTA LA in like the mid-2000s. People weren't growing their hair out in the mid-2000s. Everybody was cutting their hair. The only character that had any style that was remotely long was Trevor, and he had some problems. And, you know, I know there was some scuttlebutt about how the female character for GTA looks. They're like, oh, she looks like a man, and I'm like, if you think that looks like a man, then I don't know what you think a woman would look like. I think that's really funny. I should be more angry about how, like, video game, like, people who say that video games should be a certain way and cater to a very specific group of people in, like, the male gamer space, because, let's be honest, those people who complain about that, those people who complain about those kinds of things, they are not indicative of most men at all. Most men don't care that much. They enjoy video game, and that's how most people are. And then they complain like, oh, you know, the new female character looks like a man. They all look like men, and it's like, sweetheart, no, they don't. You know they don't. You don't really believe what you're complaining about, do you? It's people who have made bitching about video games their brand, and so they have to find something to bitch about. It's like being delivered a $2 million dinner and then being like, it was salty! It's like, yes, people are supposed to use salt. It's like people hating on that Joe Cat guy for liking women. Okay, I think he's finished now. Let's zoom out. He seems fine. I can't shake the thought of his head being a bit lopsided. I won't lie, his ponytail looks like it has been taped to his head. So, if that's the case, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's erase this. Big wonder. The wonder about is the bubble. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that in a second. All of this. There we go. Better. At least I think so. Ta-da! Need some water. Pretzel's stuck. everything's gonna be okay. There we go. Let's smooth this out real quick. Because as much as I like him to look like he's holding a weapon, it just looks a little bit awkward. I think this is... I don't know, I really like Paya. Paya's super cute. Sheik looks more like her older brother than her twin brother. I really wanted to emphasize his, like, masculinity. Whoops. Alright, we're gonna have to look at some of Sheik's designs in his outfit, because they're very specific. Zelda. Alright. Oh, never mind. They're not as specific as I thought. He just has 2 lines around his thighs, which are covered. I am gonna do this. So let's go down. Let's take the pen tool and just do this. I'm gonna sneeze. Alright. That's more indicative of his outfit in Ocarina of Time. Maybe not necessarily Hyrule Warriors, but definitely Ocarina of Time. But I don't like it. So, it's whatever. His thighs are covered. It's fine. We'll just say they're on his thighs. Alright, they're the twins. Sheik and Paya. I need to fix Sheik's face real quick. Because I was supposed to give him a pupil. And... actually, no. He doesn't have the big shiny eyes his sister has. He just has a dash. Actually... maybe not give him the exact same eyes his sister has. Because, once again, Sheik is a very masculine character. with Sheik and Link to be a bit more masculine as opposed to a character like Zelda, who I wanted to be very feminine and heroic at the same time. And who knows, I might try to I'm actually pretty happy with the design I have for Zelda. At least her long hair version. Okay, I need to quit before I fuck with this too much. Better. I like that better. I like the eye better. Those look very good to me. Thank you. Now the question is, should I attempt to color these? That is the big question. Or should I attempt some more Linked Universe redesigns? Well, not necessarily redesigns, but some a little more tasty, a little more flashy. I don't know. Because here's the thing. I'm not great at coloring. That's the problem. Like, I'm okay at it. Add a new layer and give it a shot. Yeah. Alright. I can do that. Well, although I am going to have to name my layers. So, line art. And color. There we go. Well, actually, let's make this an undercolor first. We'll give it a burnt sienna undercolor. And then we'll do flat color on top. Alright. So, one. Nope. Oh, right. That's why it's not doing what I wanted to do. And set it as a reference layer. That should just be them. Now, let's see if we can pick our colors. There we go. Oh, and I want to change the color of my line art as well. There we go. Oh! I missed Sheik's toes. Amazing. Oh, wrong color. And I need to go back to the undercolor. Here we go. Alright. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do Paya's tattoo. Paya has a tattoo on her forehead. But I think I can do that in the flat color. I think I can do that. So I'll think about that later. Let me use the fill tool real quick. Because they have grayish white hair, most Sheikah do. So we're going to give that to Sheik, and we're going to give that to Paya. messed up. It's fine, though. I didn't go that far back. Let's just take it one... yeah. I'll erase all the stray marks. After this particular part is finished. But for now, let's just stick with this. You know, I'm actually still trying to figure out what to do for next month. I'm tempted to dip my toe a little bit back into reactions, only because I want to do something cute for summer break. And I kind of want to go through my martial arts movie collection. Not exactly for reactions, but just kind of wanting to go back and talk about what I like about them. The only problem is that one of those is the Drunken Master. And the Drunken Master, Jackie Chan's estate, has some of the most litigious fair use rules, and I'm afraid to react to anything anywhere of his. There's a reason why Stuntman React doesn't really exist anymore. Up close here. It's fine though. Okay, let's give Paya. Nope, I did it again. Ah, this is fun. It is fun. I'm not being sarcastic, but it's just a bit stressful because I keep messing up something important. Okay, yeah, I did mess up there. That's okay, though. I'll just redo it. They can be quite aggressive with their copyright. Yes. Once again, that is one of the reasons why Stuntman React doesn't really do their thing anymore. They do a lot of their own independent projects because they kept getting claimed. If I recall correctly, that episode with Chadwick Boseman's Stuntman doesn't really exist anymore. Which is kind of sad. Because while he didn't talk about it at length, he did basically say, shed some light on how he was feeling toward his, final days. same problem with Sheik's hair I did with Paya's hair, the same I had with Sheik's. I think she's fine. Although I do need to get her little puffs. Puff, puff. Alright, cool. Hair's done. And then, yeah, alright. I would say, as far as, remember all those years people putting disclaimers, some still do on... Oh yeah, absolutely. I talked about it in my latest video. Not to sound like I'm pushing that or anything. It's just it doesn't have a lot of views, and I would like people to watch it, because people need to know what's going on. To mix a couple of portrayals of Impa here, because in some portrayals Impa had very dark skin. And so Paya I don't know how I feel about that skin tone, but we'll see. Actually, I think maybe Paya and Sheik will have some lighter skin. Maybe they're half healing or something. I don't know. I just want to avoid making them red or yellow. Actually, I think that's perfect. I think that's the exact kind of tone I was going for. Neither of them really have a lot of skin showing, so... I just realized how weird her hand was. Yeah, her hand is really weird, and I don't know how to fix that. We'll come back to it. Honestly, I think that is exactly the skin tone I wanted. Let's see how it looks on both of them. So neat. So I like the video too. Thank you, Kat. It's very... Thank you for supporting this channel and the Patreon. It means a lot. I mean, because, you know, Oh, wait, no. I need this color everywhere, actually. The scars will get their own layer. I know things are tough all over. Like, nothing is easy for anybody at the moment. I mean, I'd be hard-pressed to say nothing is easy for anyone ever, but the people who... Let's put it this way. Money has been very tight for a lot of people for reasons beyond our control. And people who can spare the money should be spending it on other, more worthwhile causes. War zones need to be fed. What am I doing? Alright. Oh! His feet. I hit the undo button a little too much. There we go. Maybe use a thinner brush for the fingers. I'm just gonna have to use a thinner brush overall. I love thick lines, but I recognize now that they really are doing me more harm than good. in the long run. I normally use the pen brush, but I decided to go for a more sketchy look this time, and I think it did more harm than good in the long run. The Sheikah are also dressed in what I like to call not quite white. That might be a little too white. But it's the kind of white that Nintendo likes to dress their characters up in. You see this all the time because it's like it's all I can really describe it as is not quite white. I'm tempted to make Sheik's cowl red. We'll see how I feel after this. I did it again. I don't know what is with me today. No, I know exactly what is with me today. Not enough protein is what is with me. There we go. Natural linen color a bit, off-white cream color. Yeah. Because you'll see it a lot in Mario games too, like how Cappy is not quite bright white. He's more gray. Nintendo does this thing. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what kind of color theory it is or anything like that. I don't know much about like the creation of video games. But I think one of the reasons, someone said that one of the reasons their games are so beautiful is that, like, even though the graphics aren't that great, is because they never go completely black or completely white. I don't remember who said that. I'm sure what I just said would have a lot more weight and value if I knew who said that. Is not a necessary line. Yeah, no, that's not necessary. I don't know why that's there. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Sleeve should not be that color, but we'll come back to it. Oh, speaking of back, so I told you guys that I told you guys that I've been going to the gym very early, and sometimes this enables me to see Charmed as it was almost 15 years ago at this point. And I think they're up to their, like, the last bit of the first season, and I saw a very, very young Amisha Collins, like, probably about... Uh-oh. What happened? Uh-oh. My stylus has stopped working. Oh. It's because my color settings module messed up. There we go. Should be working now. Yeah, there's a very young Misha Collins who, This is probably, I'd say... Yeah, I'd say about... maybe 6 to 7 years, maybe even 10 years, before he did Supernatural. But he was a baby. He couldn't have been more than 24, 25 years old. And he didn't do, as far as I know, he didn't do Supernatural until he was like 27. I'm not 27, like in his 30s. He was also in an episode of Leverage way back when. I forget who he was, though. I think he was just playing some stockbroker. I know he was playing a villain. Or one of the people that got stolen from. Or the more, the more accurate way would be to put that would be the way the main the main characters stole from. So. Miss Paya's looking a little more fresh now. Speaking of fresh, I kind of hope that there is not necessarily a limit to the amount of to the amount of nitrogen a plant can have. Because I repotted Charlotte yesterday, and that is my big office plant. I repotted Charlotte. Sometimes there's like a 1 minute cameo and I'm like, what? Yeah, oh, you know what's a trip? Is to see people like Tyrese Gibson, Don Cheadle. Anthony Mackie is in everything. I have seen him in everything. I have seen him in Law and Order. I have seen him in CSI. I have seen him in Charmed. I have seen him in Supernatural. I have seen him in not Supergirl. I have seen Smallville. I have seen him in Smallville. He is everywhere. Like, once you know his face, he is in like every show. Ewan McGregor in ER in 19. Oh my god. Oh my god. So many actors got their start in ER. Well, maybe not their start, but definitely a bit part. Especially actors that are like popular now. Anthony Mackie appears quite a few times in House as well, if I recall correctly, as Mekhi Phifer's brother? Question mark. Okay, I think I got all the red. No, I don't. I gave her some cute little greaves, but I don't know if I'm gonna pick. I don't know if I'm gonna keep these. If I ever choose to redo her design, because I want Paya to be specifically a non-combat character. Paya leaves a lot of the fighting to her brother, because it's not her job. She's a scholar and a oh wait, no, that's wrong. Paya is a scholar and a doctor, and that is her job. Did I still do that wrong? Yes. She is not supposed to be a combatant. She's also there to be kind of a shoulder to cry on, because, he worries about Link. He really does. Because at this point in the story, Link is not in a good place. Someone asked me if I was planning on making him a villain, and no. I don't have it in me to make Link a villain. I don't. I know a lot of people like that sort of story arc. People like that sort of storyline, kind of like the hero who believes they deserve more for their work. But I truly do not have it in my heart to do that. There are some characters who are just not meant to have a villain arc, and I believe in my heart of hearts that Link is one of those people. Oh, I didn't do Sheik. Let me do his... Oh, oops. Let me do his shoes. I can't tell. There we go. Trouble with that. Would only know villainy if it came, would only know if it came in bit, and even then he just hit it and chase it off. Oh yeah, I also, it is kind of like for me personally, it's kind of like the childhood hero thing. Like, in your heart of hearts that this person should be more mad, but then being mad would hurt your feelings. I honestly don't know how to put it. It's just, I don't know. Link has always been a very special character to me. To a lot of people, honestly. A lot of people our age, were really influenced by Ocarina of Time. And for good reason. Now, I personally don't think it is the masterpiece of a game that everyone says it is. But all of the opinions I have of the game are almost entirely positive because of just how much I love the game in general. Like, I'm fully aware of Ocarina of Time's flaws, but I also don't care. I don't care. Like, I know a lot of people, there's someone, what's this dude's name? I forget his name. The Game Grump with the straight hair. What's that man's name? Whose name I can never remember. To be honest, I'm blanking on both their names. The one who made the sequelitis. Whatever. I can acknowledge that maybe the game is at times hard to look at. I can also acknowledge that it's very awkwardly controlled, even for a game that was as technically logically advanced as it was back in the day. But, and I know, like, people were mad. People were mad about his opinions. Like, people still complained about it to this day. That video is almost 15, maybe not 15, but definitely like 10 to 12 years older. 10 to 12 years old, if not more. And people are still mad about that video. But for me, it's like, I love the game enough to know that he probably has a point, but also, I don't give a shit. I love that game. I know it has its faults. I don't care. But that's how I feel about a lot of my games. A lot of the games that I really, really love. Like Final Fantasy 15, for instance. People say, oh, Final Fantasy 15 isn't a Final Fantasy game. It doesn't even have a Final Fantasy-esque plot. Not this is annoying, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I love the game enough to not give a shit. You can hate it. That's fine. I'm not going to, because I love it. There are a lot of people who get butthurt about when they hear people complain about stuff they like, and I don't know, man. I grew up in North Carolina schools. Yeah. I can just end the sentence there. I grew up in North Carolina schools in Fort Bragg. You can insult my interest all you want, but it probably won't affect my opinion. But it probably won't affect me. Saying this mood so far. The only game I've nubbed out of is Detroit Become Human, because it was not a good game, because I didn't like it. Detroit Become Human, I thought, I was like, oh, this game is like an allegory for racial injustice. But the minute they put their hands up and said, don't shoot, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't. I'm out. Posse out. Like, I can't. And the more I thought about that game, the more I was like, oh, I know exactly what scene you're talking about. No one likes that scene. Like, it's awful. And here's the thing. There is a scene like that in every David Cage game. There is a scene like that in every David Cage game. And I don't vibe with that. Like, it's one thing if it's portrayed once or twice. I get it. If you want to show, like, how bad things have gotten, some stories are just that bad, you know? Like, horrible things happen. I get it. And you're free to portray that. But the fact that it's 1 in every game, 2 unskippable, and 3 they don't warn you about it, it's rough. I said, I have no problem with portrayal of horrible, awful things, but, like, warn a bitch first. Like, truly. But also, I didn't much like Kara's portrayal in the game anyway. And to hear about Jesse Martin and the guy who played, I got through it. It was when you were escaping the house. Yeah, I know. It's an intense scene, and I don't think the game gives you proper warning enough. Like, I have that same opinion about, What Remains of Edith Finch, and not the brothers scene, because by the time you get to the brothers story, you're like, oh, okay, this is we know what's happening here. It's the baby. I have an issue with the baby, and I don't think the game gives... Like, eventually they put in a mechanism where you could skip it, but I don't think they put in, like, enough of a heads up, like, hey, this is... Because there is a special kind of sinking feeling you get when you go into the room with all the 3 kids, where all the 3 kids' beds are, and then you go to the crib, and then you start reading the divorce contract, and then the scene changes to to being in a bathtub as a baby. Your heart just drops, and you're like, oh no, I know what's about to happen here. It is a truly ungodly sort of dread. And I personally don't think the game gives people heads up enough about that. I really don't. Like, if you're gonna put it in, fine. Just be like, hey, yo, shit's about to go down. And, like, I feel like they should offer a skip of some kind. But they never, they do, eventually they did enable you to skip it. Because a lot of people complained. And no wonder, it's pretty fucked up. But yeah, I'll stop talking about depressing stuff. Well, I do recommend that, everybody play What Remains of Edith Finch. Just be cognizant of what you're walking into. But yeah, if there is a game that I would say that everyone should play, it would be What Remains of Edith Finch. It is a beautiful game. It is not a horror game, but it is a horrifying game. It's by the same people who made Stray, if that helps. Actually, I'm gonna make their eyes more pink. Because blood red looks threatening. Yeah, okay. Let's... Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. Oh, I need a thinner pen. Balls. Okay. Anything's gonna be that messed up. Yeah. Like I said, I said this in my other video, I have no problem with, like, I have no problem with portrayal of things. Just warn me. Warn me. And there are some video games, like for instance the torture scene in GTA 5, that don't warn you enough. And I think that is a problem specifically with video games. I feel like TV shows and movies do quite enough. It's the video games that have the problem. Especially if they make you play through certain things, like the torture scene in GTA 5. I may or may not be still bitter about that scene, because it makes me mad. One, because you're unprepared for it, and two, they never bring it up again. Ever. It's never brought up again. Like, there are so many things in that game that are brought up consistently. And it's like, y'all are gonna make a decision like that to put something that intense in a game, and then you're gonna act like you're embarrassed of it. Okay. I think that's good for old Paya. Oh, I never finished Sheik's belt. What color should I make this belt? I know I want this to to be gold. I should really keep with tradition and just make it navy. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Oh, right, that's what I'm missing. Cheeks, scars. Alright, let's kill the transparency a bit. A darker red, because these are burn scars. They are all over the side of his face. I didn't want to put Sheik's gloves on because I wanted to make a point. Sheik does have significant nerve damage in his left hand. That's why he's flexing his right one. So he tends to cast with his left hand and strike with his other one, and strike with his right. Oh, I forgot the other scar on his forehead. Now let's make them a little fainter. Because they're old. Okay. Alright. I think the twins, they look okay. Let's probably add some shadow to them, but let's hit the flat collar a little bit. Now, normally their outfits have a lot more designs on them, and the bottoms are also lined in red, but I decided to forego that this time. Because, maybe they're of high enough rank to not need it, since they are Impa's grandchildren. The lovely compliment. Now, I think I'm gonna keep this simple and just throw a nice little shadow over it. I don't think I'm gonna do too much layering. I think I'm just gonna do a cheeky little shadow, and we're gonna do it in black because I can. And I think that'll be me done here. At some point, I am gonna have to make a video about how much American Dad I watch when I'm drawing normally. I watch a pathetic amount of American Dad. It's free, and it's noisy, and it's dumb. I don't have to think about it too hard. And it's not Family Guy. That's really the intent here. It's not Family Guy. Also, I need to figure out what I'm going to do when I go on vacation, because we are set to go on vacation twice, actually. So we're going on vacation in July, just a simple beach trip, and then we are going on vacation for my birthday in DragonCon. Now, DragonCon, I will probably be making content for. I love DragonCon. It's my home con. It's where my husband proposed. And unless something horrible happens, knock on wood, I will be going to that con consistently for the rest of my life. As a matter of fact, I've always considered buying lifetime passes for that. Just because it's something that we'll always go to, But that's way down the line, when we have the cash. But yeah, DragonCon is always lots of fun. If you ever plan on going, be careful about crowds. It is very, very crowded. If crowds are not for you, don't go to DragonCon. It's one of the reasons my dad's never gone. He can't do crowds. Ouch. Although I will say, so in 2002, we went in 2002, and that was the year my husband proposed. And it was wonderful, magical, I wept. It was one of my happiest memories, if not the happiest. Did I? Yes, I did. That's fine now. But that night, while we were comforting a distraught friend of ours because they were dealing with another issue, we started not feeling too great. And, almost husband was like, I'm gonna sleep, actually, because I'm feeling, really cold and really clammy. And I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling great either. Do you just want to cut and run and go home? And he was like, yeah, probably. And then that night, we rushed to the CVS, and I think his fever was 103. And when we got home, we immediately took COVID tests. Keep in mind, I had not had COVID. Being immunocompromised, I did not get COVID during any of the more intense shelter in place regulations. Not only that, but we had specific rules to follow, so we wouldn't spread anything. We wouldn't catch anything. We didn't eat in the food court. yeah, it was like the rules were don't eat in the food court, don't bring anybody up to the room that we don't know. I don't remember all of them, but we had some pretty strict rules to follow, and it worked the first time we went in 2021, but 2022, I guess they decided, nah, that's not the year it's supposed to work. So the night the night my husband proposed to me, the next day, we realized we had COVID. But it's fine. We weathered it out together. We stayed away from my roommate. She never got it. And it was just a nice time overall. We didn't get a chance to go for as long last year, unfortunately, because our hot water heater had a mental breakdown, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, wait. Did I miss something? I did. The first 2 times in the pandemic, once the second round of vaccines. Well, my vaccine, then I got it anyway, but it was a walk in the park compared. Yeah, I bet. I still suspect that I got COVID, that January, because me, my husband, and 2 other people in our D&D group got really, really sick. And I mean like knocked down, drag out sick. My husband was out of work for 4 days. I was out of work for almost an entire week. No, for the entire week. I didn't go back to work for a whole week. And I got tested for the flu. I got tested for the pneumonia. They gave me Cipro and all these things, and it didn't seem to work. And then, so I suspect that I had it before then, because that's the sickest I had ever been for a hot minute. And, you know, I had my roommate saying, we need to take you to the emergency room. Like, I scared her because of how bad it was. And she was like, we need to take you to the emergency room. And that's when I got put on Cipro. And let me tell you, Cipro sucked. Cipro sucked. Cipro was gross. Yeah, Cipro was just not a good time. If you want to talk about an antibiotic that makes you truly very ill, it's Cipro. Cipro is what they give people with anthrax. I was working hospital shifts, taking extra shifts, COVID wards. Ah, I see. Like, I have a cousin who was in the same boat. I was inside the house for a whole year. And, well, you know, it did give me a break from social obligations. That's not something I could do again. Because it was pretty bad. Luckily, but I will say, because of that, I did decide that I was going to marry my husband. Like, in times where things were really bad, he took such, like, painstaking care of me that I was like, oh, I'm so in love. missed her friggin'... Oh, God. Her beads are not that much different than the other color, but it's fine. Oh, wait. I forgot to color a little bit of her hair here. There we go. 90% sure the UK equivalent of a CNA. We call them HCAs. Ah! I did not know you were from the UK, Ken. That's awesome. That's where my brother's from. I've never been myself, unfortunately. Okay. Let's go back to drawing shadows now. I got majorly distracted. I'm gonna have to change this in a minute. These voices are getting on my nerves just a bit. Normally I really, really like this one, but I'm not dealing with it today. To do tonight, instead of playing Overwatch and hoping, I think I might play a little more Yakuza tonight. I was trying to avoid playing it any day other than the weekend because I tend to get a little bit obsessed, but I think I'm gonna play Yakuza. I was never really a fan of the series. Well, that's not true. I was never really a fan of playing the series. I adore watching people play it. But I hate it. I always hated the fight system. But then they changed it to a turn-based fight system, and that is so much easier to deal with. Just recently got my resident status approved. Oh my god, congratulations! That's huge. Okay. Look at him. He looks so nice. I'm being very devil may care about this. Let me take a step back. Focus on the grippers here. Also, I hate people call them that. Like, it's just... Gen Z's aversion to feet is just like the millennial aversion to the word moist. It's like, alright, calm down. You don't have to be so fucking dramatic. Hang on. This cord's getting on my nerves. I think I've got going for to keep my EU and also do the British one, although I can't keep it for a bit now that I have my present resident status. Lord, I don't even have my passport. Like, think of that. I don't even have my passport. Alright, I'm about to change the... Alright. There we go. Okay, well that's Sheik done, I think. Now for Paya. She's got... Oh, I forgot to paint her... a section of her face. And a section of her neck. And there are a couple of things I forgot to paint on Paya. A couple of details. It's okay though. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse engineer Paya's hair a little bit. Corn is everywhere now. And it feels like a bug started crawling on you because it's so soft. It's crawling in the shadows. Thank you. We're almost done here, actually. And who knows, maybe Friday I'll come back and actually try to pull off some Linked Universe. Oh no, I haven't been feeling Linked Universe as much as I used to. Not for any particular reason, like the artist didn't do anything. I just personally haven't been feeling it. And I think it's because every sort of like social internet space now gets sort of filled with this weird sort of self-righteousness. Like there are a lot of people who really love who, because, you know, fandom and media is a part of their identity, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. It's just, a lot of people confuse their media with activism, which I don't think is necessarily super healthy, especially when people start empathizing more with fictional characters rather than actual people. Because I've seen a lot of people who want to do good, especially for the, you know, the current war zone, the current conflicts that are happening. That's not even a real way to put it, but I can't say the G word on YouTube or I'll immediately get stuffed into a basket and shipped to YouTube headquarters so Susan Wojcicki can beat me soundly. But there are a lot of people who are trying very hard to do good, but they haven't really been outside of the United States or their very insular neighborhood, so they end up doing more harm than good. And it's kind of hard to tell them that they're not helping because they want to help so bad. Like, they want to help so bad, and their heart is in the right place, but it's like what you're doing, or what you're at, or you're either asking, they're either asking too much of people, or they are not helping as much as they think they are. These shadows make Paya look a lot skinnier than I want her to. But I don't know what else to do. I mean, I could try drawing some Tales of mashup stuff. I really do enjoy... I really do want to finish writing my Tales of mashup fanfiction. I wrote it all during COVID, and it was all very cathartic. It was really fun. And it was I hadn't done something like that in a really long time, so... I would really love to finish writing everything that I'd planned. I didn't get a chance to finish writing everything that I planned because I eventually had to go back to work. And, then a lot of stuff happened with that job, and now I'm more of a freelancer than anything. Right now, I'm writing commercials for for an aviation training facility. And a lot of them, a lot of the commercial spots that I'm writing are, like, really making fun of Boeing. Like, these clients hate Boeing, and I mean, for good reason. But a lot of the commercials that they've put out are, hey, Boeing sucks. We'll train you correctly. Bitch! I think they look great! I think they look great! Aw, thank you, Kat. That's very sweet of you. I'm glad you enjoy my company, because I enjoy yours very much. Every time you come into chat, you are always super kind and polite and uplifting. And same thing with Movie Geek, even though I'm not sure they're listening at this point. Or watching. Because I know they have a job. If I recall correctly, they are usually reporting to around this time. Yeah, I think they look great. Little brother and sister team. Their hair looks a little flat, but I don't know how to fix that. I'm gonna attempt to do a little something here. I mean, I could... Actually, let me go back to the shadows. I messed up with the shadows. Use the multiply layer. There we go. With the multiply layer, the shadows look a bit more... Actually, let's keep it at 45. We can actually even take it down a little further. Yeah, I think that's nice. I'm covering at home, fracturing my elbow. Oh yeah, that's right! You literally just talked about living in Europe. And I immediately forgot it. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Oof, yeah. That's not what I intended. This is what I intended. at least need to give the hair a little dimension. Okay, now let's do Paya. Oh, whoops. What just happened? Okay. I was like, okay, wait, what? It's like 8 o'clock here. There's a really good grasp when we put the shadows and want to highlight with them. Thank you. Actually, 2200 hours is 2200 hours is 10 p.m., not 8 p.m. Not bad. Military time used to be all my parents went by because my father was in the military for so long. But the minute they stopped, after he retired, I immediately forgot how to do it for a really long time. Yeah, there are a couple of things I forgot to fully implement on Paya here. I think it was mostly the hair. And then let's go back to this layer, and then let's lay some... There we go. Not as shiny as I want. Just make it brighter. There we go. Alright, and lastly but not leastly, we're gonna mark their eyes again in the spots that I left open with just white. And actually, I'm gonna put another little dot here for Paya's eyes. There we go. I learned from drag and then people started using it, so it just generally stuck with me. So it's staying good use to my part. Yeah. That's usually my line of demarcation. If it's written, use military time, but if it's spoken, use standard. I'm actually going to make Sheik's scars a bit more pronounced, because they are still burn scars. There we go. Alright. Whoops. Alright, I think the twins are done. I think the twins are done. I like Sheik's redesign. Because, actually, let me see if I can find it. I can put the image in OBS real quick before I wrap up stream here, because we're having cornbread and jerk chicken tonight, because, I need to do something with the cornbread that we just have. I need to do something with the cornbread mix that we've just had sitting for a while. And it would be nice if I could have some cornbread tomorrow for, after my workout. So, let's see. Image. Thank you, my dear. Let me see if I can find it. So in the middle here was how I originally drew Sheik. And I drew him with blonde hair. And I was gonna draw Paya with blonde hair. And then I was like, nah, I've never had cornbread in my life. That's one of the things I would like to try at some point. If you are vacationing in the American South, you will just obtain cornbread. It's served at almost every, like, southern home restaurant. And you know, now that I'm looking at this colored, Sheik's design is actually growing on me. If I used a better pen rather than a pencil, I probably would have put some tatters at the end of his, shirt, essentially to make it, you know, known that while he's the politician, he's not as well put together as Paya, who's more of a scholar and a doctor. So yeah, that was my original concept for Sheik, and as nice as it was, I didn't like how it looks like pajamas. That's really the long and short of it. I was trying to go for, like, traditional Vietnamese clothing. It does not look like traditional Vietnamese clothing. It looks like a pajama suit. Yeah, I definitely do too. I like the gray hair better. But yeah, that is the Impa siblings. And give myself a good stretch. Ugh. So, now that I can pull my microphone a bit closer. So, we do have friends getting together with us on Friday. So I don't know if I'm streaming on Friday. I know I skipped my stream last Friday, because of something similar. We had a Bob Ross paint-along. When you're running, moving. Yeah, exactly. That's actually one of the reasons why I changed it. Because Sheik is supposed to be the more mobile out of the two. Like I said, Paya's not exactly a combatant. But, we had a Bob Ross paint-along, and we had to, on Saturday, and we had to get some things together. Cornbread and grits are two things I absolutely want to try if I'm ever in the American South. I am not a huge fan of grits, personally, but I love cornbread. One of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of, grits is because when I worked at a hotel, one of my jobs was a shrimp and grits station. And usually, after that, I would end up, my lunch or my dinner would end up being, grits, with gravy, because all the shrimp and all the pork was gone. So, I'm not a huge fan of grits because I've eaten so many of them, but cornbread, definitely, get cornbread. And if you're ever in hey, listen, if you're ever in, like, Louisiana, South Georgia area, maybe even Alabama, probably not Alabama, but, definitely like the Louisiana area, always try what people say is the best regional dish. So, if you go to, say, Louisiana, and someone says, try gumbo, try the gumbo. And if someone says, if you go to, like, Savannah, and they say try the shrimp and grits, get the shrimp and grits. If you go to North Carolina, and they say try the ribs, try the ribs. Just always go with what people say is the best regional dish. And they have to be local, too. But, that's my food advice for the day. What else was I going to say? One of them is gonna cook anymore. Watch. Don't hear about. Listen, as someone who's worked in the culinary industry, I get it. I get it. Absolutely. I can't watch The Bear because it makes me so anxious. Like, it genuinely makes me anxious. Working for someone who's like Carmi is a trip, definitely. It's a lot. You'll learn a lot, but God, you will come back from work every day like, what is wrong with that man? But I think that's everything. The Skate the Infinity video essay is still on schedule. The script is not as written as I'd hoped it would be. I had to sort of waylay things to finish up this commercial, which I'm almost done with. I should be done with by Friday. Yeah, I'm not a huge... my husband's not a huge fan of coriander. But all the dishes I named aren't spicy. If you're thinking about spicy, you're thinking jambalaya. Gumbo's not spicy. A little salty, yes, but not spicy. And neither is, shrimp and grits. Memphis barbecue is known for being somewhat spicy. But North Carolina barbecue is known for, being a bit vinegary. Like, the barbecue sauce has a little bit of vinegar in it. So, none of the foods I named were particularly spicy. Now, some people do make them a little spicy, but just tell them not to. And they usually will. But yeah, I think that's everything. If I'm back on Friday, I'm back on Friday. If I'm not, because honestly, my plan for Friday is to just... My plan for Friday is just to make a lasagna and be done with it. Normally, I cook something a bit more elaborate for my friends, but I think I'll just be done after I make some lasagna. Nah, barbecue's not that spicy. No, the barbecue's not that spicy. It depends on where you get it. And you can just ask for less spicy sauce. Most people eat sweet barbecue sauce anyway. But it's more like... With barbecue, it's more like they give you something with a nice spice rub on it, and then they give you sauce to go with it if you want. And usually the sauce is what goes. So, but yeah, I'll explain all of that later. For now, I need to make some food because I'm starving. You're all lovely. You're wonderful. Thank you for being here in chat, and stay weird, lovelies, and happy eating.